Welcome to Ferocious Achiever. I'm James Heppner, founder and CEO of Heppner Results Coaching. We turn successful achievers into high-level achievers, grow their authority, expand their capacity to maximize all of life, and help them create a life that is vibrant and rich no matter the outcome. We help successful people stop the self-sabotage, raise their standards, and participate with unshakable confidence, creating more gains with less strain. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. Stick around to the end of the show where we'll reveal how you can be our next guest in 20 to 25 minutes. Let's go.
Welcome to episode number 1 of Ferocious Achiever. I am not your host. James Heppner is normally your host, but I have the distinct privilege and pleasure, James, of interviewing you for your inaugural kind of movie trailer-esque kickoff episode. Congratulations on the launch of your new podcast.
This is so exciting. I'm so honored to have you launch and help me with this. Just fantastic. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You are no stranger to podcasting. Your other podcast, Weekly Wins and Losses, has been podcasting for a little while. So this is a little bit kind of a unique opportunity to really start shining the spotlight on others. Can you maybe just share about just a little bit about the two podcasts? And again, someone who stumbled upon this, obviously we want to make sure that they subscribe to Weekly Wins and Losses, but can you maybe just share just a bit about the two shows?
Gosh, Josh, that's a great question. You know, one of the things that's just come to the center of my life and the clients that I serve is how do we be about what we all want? We all want higher level achievements. We all want to break through. We all want to be able to deal with things at a higher level. And how do we do it? Well, there's many ways. And one of the things that we've come to appreciate is you can be looking just towards the wins of your life. And also you could, if you're wise, you'll look to gain from all of life. You'll look to gain from both the wins and the losses. So wins and losses really cues up what the human being perceives life is. Whether it is a win or loss, well, that we don't know, but we have these feelings and these nuances towards what actually is it. And so that ties directly into Ferocious Achiever. I'll never forget, my story goes a bit like this. Share real quick. When I went through a season of my life that was really humbling, like I checked out of life for 2 and a bit years, and it was really fascinating how when I came through that story and that journey, how I said, you know, the problem is I'm such an achiever and I got to really, really chip away at that. Like, yeah, that's creating a lot of strain. It's not helpful. And so I went to work at really, like I said, chipping away at it to the point where, let's be honest, I wasn't feeling great. Let's be honest as well. I was living a better life because I had changed a lot of protocols and a lot of metrics in my life. But then I came into this realization, and the realization was, to be honest, achieving is fantastic. We all want to achieve. We're all striving towards something, but it is if we're striving towards something in an anxious way that it becomes a problem. Anxious striving is if we're rushed, if we're judgmental, if we're attached to outcome, right? And so Weekly Wins and Losses and Ferocious Achiever, these two come together and they really create, it's like the twin brother, the twin sisters, however you want to look at it, where they formulate and put together that we get to gain from all of life with less strain.
Excellent. And for this show in particular, James, what is a ferocious achiever?
Well, perhaps,
excuse me, who is a ferocious achiever?
Well, you're looking at two of them right now. You're looking at you're looking at you. Perhaps what I'll do is I'll ask you, who are you? How would you describe Ferocious Achiever? Because you and I are similar in this regard, but I'll let you unpack this for just a half a second, if you don't mind.
You know, I'm not trading time for dollars. I'm not trading minutes for, early. I'm legacy building. I'm focused on impact. Like I feel like when I wake up in the morning, I look at my schedule, I think about the impact that I'm going to have in the lives of other people. And that drives me because I know that I have a moral obligation to do that, but I don't do it out of like I gotta do this because, I do it because number one, yes, it's what I love. Number two, it's who I am. And that fuels me to be able to do what other people, I'd say, people, I do this, what we're doing right now. I do this a lot. I've been in the podcasting world. And I think if, some people look at my schedule and they look at my, the publishing rate, and they go, how do you do that? And I'm like, and I'd love your perspective on this too, because I know you work with amazing achievers. Like you are their right-hand person. Like that's just what you do professionally as a coach. You work with the true, high achieving individuals. But what I was going to say is that, again, it's just kind of, we stretch based on our drive, and we accomplish what other people from the outside may say, I don't know how you have the capacity to do it. And it's like, well, I started with 1 podcast a week, then I went to 3, then I went to 7, then I went to 10, and it's just like the body will adapt to the soul's desire to do what the soul knows it's here to do. That's my take on it.
You said it so eloquently. And to be honest, the people that find me come and source me out because there's something about living on the edge that we just get addicted to. Let's be honest. Like when a human being shows up truly obsessed about a passion, the world changes. When you're obsessed, you just can't put it down. It just calls you. You got this yearning, you got this ache towards it. It just draws you. This is a magnetizing force that just, it sucks you towards it. And what's interesting, it's not a powerless feeling whatsoever. It's the most empowering. It's the passion, it's the purpose. It's all coming together. And when I think about, gosh, you made me laugh so hard when you said, yeah, you start with 1 podcast and then 3 and then 7 and whatever. I'll never forget when I started podcasting. I remember thinking, well, perhaps I can do 2 podcasts a day. And I had 1 or 2 days of podcasting. And then I ended up at, I think, 7 or 8 podcasts. And, this is what I have identified with what a ferocious achiever is. We look at what our capacity is, and secretly us humans are all a little bit afraid that we won't have the capacity to handle a worst case scenario. And I think a ferocious achiever is someone that actions something or a behavior. And it isn't an anxious, I don't think I'm enough, so let's see if we can validate that. It's just like, let's see what's inside. Let's see what we can discover. Let's see who's really in there. And then we go for it. And then we expand the threshold of our control. When we realize that, oh my goodness, here I thought I could do 1. Listeners, tap into what is it you thought you could do? And then when you stretch it, ferocious achievers, you know who you are. You know how when you bend, when you lean into that space, what ends up happening is you realize, oh my goodness, this is who I am. And we get addicted to this. And so I would say there's many ways of defining a ferocious achiever, but to your point and how you teed it up, Josh, and that was beautiful. You said it so eloquently. It is someone who says, listen, I want more, but more, not just more for me, but I want to be a bigger service. I want to be a greater impact. I want to go and serve the world in such a way that it isn't just the world and nothing for me, or vice versa. It's both and, to serve for the greater gain of all that it was designed to be. If I look at gratitude today, gratitude is such a selective thing. People tend to be so grateful when everything is going well. But when discomforts come, well, and it's like selective gratitude. We choose not to. The only thing is, where do we gain? We gain when we can be grateful for both the comforts and discomforts. So people find me who, when losing in life, or when they go through what they perceive as a loss, when they realize that they're walking away from much of the gain in life. And so instead of always looking for the gain out there, you discover it in here.
Yeah. All right. So James, let's talk very specifically about this show, because you're looking for leaders. You're looking for achievers right now. We want the best of the best. We want to hear their stories. And I can't wait to hear those conversations. And again, very, very simple. And I'll just kind of share this. So someone's listening to this conversation right now. Here's what you need to do. Someone that you're probably thinking of right now deserves to be celebrated. And they would just go to jameshepner.com. You click on podcast, and that's where you'll see Ferocious Achiever. There'll be a link where they can schedule, and they can just directly schedule. Obviously they need to have hit some levels of achievement. And then I can't wait to hear the conversations. How do you imagine, James, those conversations going?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. I think for those that will go to the link that you mentioned, that website, jameshepner.com, click on podcast. You're going to see some testimonials, some reviews of people that have been on my podcast. You're going to be able to read a little bit what people's experience has been like being on my show. All that I can say when you say, how will it go? All that I can say is we create a space where we want to discover what your secret sauce is. Like, what is it that you're known for? What is it that you do that's different? And we discover that just by playful interaction, by opening up the can of your life and just exploring your journey, because let's be honest, it all matters. It all matters, right? And so my people, the people in my life that find me for the specific work that we're about, these are people that are already successful. Okay. These are not entry-level business owners or entry-level executives. These are people that have been at the show for a while, right? And so, like you said, there's a certain standard. Yeah, the standard is 250,000 that you need to be pulling in income, not gross income, and that's at a bare minimum. So they're owners, they're founders, they're CEOs, they're C-suite. These are these high level. And the reason we want to do this, and when you say, how will it go? We want to set the standard high because this show delivers on a really high level conversation. We unpack strategies so that, listen, for the listeners that tap in, that they can find measurable tools that they can tap into to help them scale the business at the next level. That's what this is all about.
Sorry about that. My volume here. James, this is awesome. So for our listener right now, this is the kind of show that you want to hit subscribe right now. Don't miss out on these conversations because, again, James, kind of the dynamic is, and I've always been a big fan of this, is success leaves clues. And if, even as a listener, it's just picking up on the habits, the mindset, the level at which people communicate. There's a lot of stuff between the sentences that you'll pick up when you're listening to someone that's achieving at that level, that it just rubs off on you. Listen,
I get that achievements can be super sexy, but I also get that we can be the authors and creators of our own bullshit. We can literally create self-sabotaging maneuvers, and we do it all the time. And let's be honest, we don't know what we're doing. It's the shadow side of what we do. And yeah, absolutely. So I love the way that we get to embrace and celebrate and look at and just allow the world to observe what it is that you do, what's that magic in your life. And you never know. People have come to the show and discovered some unique things about themselves just because we're having a conversation. That's the greatest gain of all of it. Like, why not come and why not respect yourself and honor yourself at another level? We're like, yeah, the heck is, I did some pretty incredible work. This is pretty challenging and I delivered. This is pretty phenomenal. And so we just want to be here. We want to just look at all of what you've done. And we want to just welcome you here to just showcase what you got for the world, because the world's looking for you. And we're here to make that space open for you and shine a light on you for just a brief minute. 15, 20, 30 minutes max. Just have some fun and learn and just tap into who you are.
I love it. Again, jameshepner.com. So, to our friend that's listening to our conversation right now, think of who who is like their work ethic, like, wow. But it's not so much about, that they're toiling away, 12 hours a day. That's not what we're talking. We're not talking about the hustle and grind people. It's more about the cumulative impact that they are able to co-create with others and just create in the world. That's what I'm interested in unlocking, not just someone that's an important distinction. Could I have you because we only have a second left, but could I have you talk about that delineation between, we don't want the hustle and grinders. We want the people that, wow, they make big stuff happen.
That's a great point. And, honestly, I get it. I get that the first half of our life, typically, we're about hustling and grinding just to see what it is that we can accumulate for ourselves. Why not, right? Why not? The only thing is that all of a sudden in life, we wake up to the fact that stuff can also be kind of empty. Like, when's the last time you've seen someone who's very successful be completely happy? You may have spotted those people, and they're everywhere, but there's also some people that are truly miserable that have all this stuff. And so second half of life, typically is one where it's like the universe just shakes the tree of your life and says, listen, if there's something in there, if there's a mission in there. So it's like the first half of your life, you capture all of who you are. You're trying to validate who you are and the successes of what you got. And the second half of life is about maximizing. Maximizing, meaning, why did I do all of this? Did I do it all for me? Or did I do this all so that I could benefit not just my self-preservation needs, but did I do this to benefit, to be honest, my legacy, my purpose, my impact? So that's what we're about. You're absolutely right. We're missional people. There's nothing wrong with being transactional, but transaction with a mission built into it and living that integrated, that's phenomenal. That's powerful. That's super powerful.
I need to ask you this because I think a lot of people are listening to this, like, and again, when you go to jameshepner.com, folks can learn what you do. Maybe I think you should explain who you have access to. A lot of really, like, again, high achieving people. What do you do with high achievers?
Well, I think, just to start and make it really simple, we listen. And I think the top aspect to any good leadership is communication, and communication begins with listening. So what I do first is I listen to who they are and where they're at. I'm not here to help anyone become like me. Like, that's the silliest of silly. I am here to listen who they are and what's their driving force. And I'm here to ask them, that driving force that you have in your life, is that what's going to take you to where you want to go? And I'm a strength finder. We look at what the strengths are. We build out personal values. We work at integrating these things so that everything draws you in a synergistic way. Like, there are so many warring conflicts in people's minds and their lives. What we do is we get beneath all of that and we simplify, we slow it right down. Some people say, what, we're going to sit here and just meditate and float away someplace? That's not what we do. We're ferocious achievers. We're not anxious achievers, but what we do is we get still so that we can see the thing directly in front of us. And honestly, often the thing we see is the thing that will liberate us. And I'm here to guide you. Like, I'm a high energy person. I get what you're after. I know what you're after. I've done this journey. I know that, life is found not when you shut down. See, the problem is I achieve too much. Oh, no. We achieve at another level. And when we do, it just clicks and the world just goes, gosh, we're so thankful that you didn't say that I'm the problem. We're so thankful that you didn't say that all of my desire to achieve more is a problem. We're thankful that you showed up and you're willing to share your gift with us and just hear us out and let this become something greater. And I'm super excited for all the people that had come on the show. I just can't wait.
All right, jameshepner.com, and that's Hepner, HEPPNER.com. Click on podcasts. Click on Ferocious Leader. That's where you can subscribe. That's where it's linked to all the podcast apps. Certainly, if you're listening to this podcast, just hit subscribe right now. Also, share it with a friend, because again, the more that we can get around achievers, it just rubs off on us, and success leaves clues. And again, I just love that modeling knowledge. Well, James, this is a great podcast. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to hear episode number 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And again, congrats on the launch.
Thanks so much, Josh. Take care. James Hepner here. Thank you so much for listening to Ferocious Achiever. If you are a successful owner, founder, C-suite executive, or CEO who would like to be on this program, please visit us at www.ferociousachiever.com. Near the top of the page, you'll see our Ferocious Achiever lion logo. And right next to that lion logo, to the right-hand side, you'll see a little blue box that when you scroll over top and click on it, it'll take you directly to that guest booking page. Now, if you got something out of this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Or send it via email or text? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on your socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media or send them an email or a text. Let them know about the show and include the hashtag Ferocious Achiever. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions, so please don't be shy. Now, we regularly put new content, new episode out, and we do this consistently. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, reviews, those things all go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. You want to know more? Simply go to the website, www.jameshepner.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. And here's something that you don't want to miss. If you want to stop the self-sabotage, you want to raise your standards and participate with unshakable confidence, you will want to take the Maximize Your Life quiz now, found at www.jameshepner.com/quiz. By taking this little quiz, you will discover exactly where you're making your life unnecessarily difficult and exactly where your behaviors are cutting you off from the outcomes and goals you crave most. Your quiz results will pinpoint with precise accuracy the exact areas to focus on. This will immediately activate your ability to use your time and resources effectively and instantly set you on your path to create higher level gains with less strain. Why not get down to the base and discover the truth about what's controlling your life right now? I challenge you, take a few minutes. You owe it to yourself. You're worth it, and your experience of life depends on it. Give yourself the gift by honoring yourself and taking 5 minutes to invest in yourself. Take the Maximize Your Life quiz now. Again, found at www.jameshepner.com/quiz. And finally, set yourself on the path that will lead you directly to what you want and need most now. Until next time, peace out, rock up.